photographic memory.
I feel like I'm using more of my mind. I don't know. They say that you only use a fraction of your brain, and I feel like I've been using more of my brain ever since I've taken this memory course.
The impact from the memory course is so powerful. Now my memory is 700% more powerful than it was before.
You can get better grades with less study time.
Before I took the course, I'd study about 3 hours a night, and my GPA was a 2.5. Now that I've taken the memory course, I only study about an hour a night, and my GPA has skyrocketed to a 3.5. It is definitely the best thing I've ever done.
Having a better memory will enable me to get better grades in school and higher SAT scores, and that will give me a chance to go to the college I want to.
You can build self-confidence and self-esteem.
Having a better memory does develop more self-confidence and more self-esteem. In my business, I need to know what's going on, and I need to keep on top of things.
You can make more money with a better memory.
Having a good memory translates to dollars by your ability to network. When you network with people and you know their names, they get to know you, they like you, there's a good rapport, they want to do business with you. It all comes down from that original remembering them. That translates to dollars.
I probably read every memory course that was commercially available. Some of them were excellent, some of them were lousy. But after 2 hours with this genius, Kevin Trudeau, I am absolutely convinced we have on our hands a revolutionary breakthrough in memory enhancement.
The power of your mind is unlimited. It can build machines that explore the bottom of the ocean and land men on the moon. Every part of our life, work, and play relies on the mind and memory. Why is it that with an instrument more sophisticated than any computer, most of us remember less than 10% of what we learn in school and less than 10% of the people's names we meet? Yet now a technological breakthrough has determined that, as incredible as it sounds, every person has a photographic memory just waiting to be unleashed. Stay tuned, get a pencil and paper, and in the next 30 minutes you'll be able to take a test to find out just how good your memory really is and learn to unleash the power of your own mega memory. Featuring Kevin Trudeau, author, lecturer, and America's foremost memory expert. Kevin is president and founder of the world's largest memory training company, the American Memory Institute. Kevin has appeared on television and radio talk shows throughout the country and has taught his revolutionary memory techniques to thousands, including many Fortune 500 companies. Now, let's allow Kevin to show you how you can develop a mega memory.
Thanks. What I really want to talk about now, is everyone's favorite subject. And help me out, what's everyone's favorite subject here? Money, all right. Anything else? Food, okay. So I get food a lot. I think that's pretty high on the priority list. It's funny, no matter where I go when I speak, people always give me different answers for their favorite subjects. I think a lot of them are pretty high on the priority list. But studies have shown that a person's favorite subject is really themselves. And in order for you and I, as people in our lives, to inspire others to like us and give us some of their business, we first have to show genuine interest and concern in them. You know, it was also discovered that a person's name is actually the sweetest sound in the language to that person. But how many of us actually use that fact to our advantage every day in our lives by remembering and using people's names? Let me ask you all a question here by a show of hands, and be honest. How many here has actually happened to at least once? You walk up to someone, you shake hands, that person gives you their name. And then as soon as that handshake breaks, the name just kind of drops right to the floor. Does that happen to anybody here? Sure, all of you. I always kid, if you didn't raise your hand to that one, maybe you didn't understand the question. It's happened to all of us at least once or twice. And it's embarrassing, isn't it? You know, you're at a cocktail party and you're chatting with someone. All of a sudden your spouse comes over and you can't even make a proper introduction. It's embarrassing. But in a business situation, not only is that embarrassing to you, maybe it's costing you some money. You know, I always kid, you always remember someone's face, but you usually have a hard time remembering the name. You walk into a bank and say, remember your face, I never forget a face. What's the next thing you say? But I'm terrible at names, I never remember people's names. I always kid, I don't think anyone's ever walked up to you and said, you know, I remember your name, but what's your face? Usually it doesn't work that way. Usually remember the things that we hear and not the things that we see. Let's talk about education just for a moment. I know a lot of us send our children to school every day to do well. That's why we send them to find schools. We want them to learn a lot of information, get into the college of their choice, get into their careers, the job of their choice. so they can make the money that they want to make. We want them to be successful. But, you know, studies have proven today that our children are under increasing amounts of pressure and stress to get what? Good grades. And a lot of us as parents get frustrated because we're looking at our own children thinking, why? They study, how come they can't do well? And it hurts us because it really is hurting the self-image of our children. Well, see, kids need tools to get the job done, to get the A's. Just like if we sent a mechanic in to fix a car, we would give that mechanic tools, specific tools to do the job. We wouldn't say, go in and fix the car, but we're not going to give you any tools to do it. Good luck. Wouldn't work. We send our kids to school, though, with the same attitude. Go to school, we want you to do well, but of course, good luck. We hope you do well. You see, memory, being able to recall information, is the actual foundation of learning. Learning and memory go hand in hand. A student, in order to do well in school, needs to have a good memory. He needs to be able to recall information.
In 6th grade, I would take spelling tests every Friday. And every Thursday, I would take my spelling paper home and study it. And now every Friday, I would go there, and I wouldn't remember even half of them. And after, in 7th grade, with my spelling, and after the memory course, now I can just take my thing home, take my paper home, relate it with the memory course, and go the next day and get them all right. It's great.
Well, I just took a real estate course, and I applied the memory techniques to learning the terminology. There were so many mortgages and different listing agreements to remember, it was mind-boggling. So I just applied the simple techniques, and it really worked. I took my test, it was successful, I'm a real estate broker, I'm psyched.
My son related a story that he came home from school and was asked a number of questions on an oral exam, and his self-esteem was improved greatly as a result of the memory course, because before he never would volunteer to give answers in class because he wasn't sure if he'd remember the answers or whether they were right. And now he can remember a lot more answers, and he's very much happier as a result of that.
I remember being at a function. There were about 50 people, and I walked into the room and I applied the memory techniques. And at the end of the night, during the night also, I remembered everybody's name. And I left addressing everybody by the name, and everybody was like really impressed.
Isn't that good? Isn't that good? You know, every time I see students benefit from the program like you just saw, it really makes me feel good about what we're doing at the Institute. How many people here, by a show of hands, were impressed by the results of those students? Sure. It excites me, too. Now, a student just a few months ago take our program, and he was flunking calculus straight across the board, straight F's. And he came in, he said, you know, I can't remember the formulas for calculus. He said, Kevin, if I could remember these formulas, I would do real well. I said, okay, well, let me show you how. By using this mind, how you can remember all the formulas. So in about 3 minutes, told him how to recall the formulas. Couldn't believe it. He said, I got an exam tomorrow. He says, I'm going to come back to class and tell you how I did. Comes back to class the next day. I said, well, how did you do? You know, we're all really interested. He says, well, I got some good news, I got some bad news. He says, the good news is I got a 100% on my exam. That kind of blew me away. That was exciting. I said, well, what's the bad news? He says, the bad news is they wouldn't accept the exam. They figured I must have cheated because I was getting straight F's. I said, you could? He says, no. He said, I got to take it again tomorrow in the principal's office. I said, well, how are you going to do? He said, I'm still going to get 100. He said, because it's committed to memory. Well, not only did this child's academics improve, but guess what else improved? His self-image. You're exactly right. The way he looked at himself. He felt better about himself because now, instead of thinking that he wasn't adequate, that he wasn't any good, now he knew he was good. He knew that he could go forward in life. But you know, memory techniques, it's not new. It's been around for thousands of years. It goes back to the time of Julius Caesar. But until just very recently, all memory techniques were very cumbersome and difficult to use and learn. Well, see, at the Institute, we had a theory that each person actually has a perfect photographic memory right now lying dormant, an ability you already have. Now, we weren't sure if that was true. So I did research developing what we thought to be some very simplified, very powerful, and very revolutionary memory technology and techniques.
I conducted a study in the Oklahoma School for the Blind in Muskogee. V.R. Carter, the superintendent of schools, invited us in. And the same techniques that are taught at the Mega Memory program with Kevin Trudeau were first developed there. We developed a technique to teach the students so that they were able to go from 15% recallability up to 90%. We repeated the work with learning disabled students, and they again were able to get up to 90% recallability. We found then that this was an ability that everyone had. It could be taught to anyone.
What I want to do now is I want to do a little demonstration to show you what can be done when you have a trained memory. Now, before I do this, it's important that you all realize none of you forget anything. Every time I say that, now someone has to be thinking, well, he doesn't know my memory. I forget things all the time. Some of you probably forgot how to get here today. No, you don't forget things. The problem is recalling information when you need it. See, every bit of information you see and hear is in the memory. The only problem is it's misfiled. Let me give you an example. You're maybe a student. You're going to take an exam, and you look at question 7, and you think, we just covered that in class yesterday, or I just read that last night. And you blank out on question 7. And you stare, and you think, doesn't come back to you. Put the paper down, pass the paper in, you walk out of the room, and as soon as you hit the doors, guess what pops into your mind? Boom, the answer. So it's obviously here, isn't it? It just gets misfiled. Example, you've seen filing cabinets. In those filing cabinets, you can actually put hundreds of files, bits of information all filed away in an order. If I asked any one of you, Keith, find me the Jones file. Ellen, find me the Harris file. You could go within seconds, have that information you need at your fingertips. But what would happen if we took the same files and I emptied them on the floor in this room and we mixed them all up? We called this the file pile. And I said, Suzanne Potts, can you find me the Jones file? You'd say, yeah, can you call me next Friday? I have to go through this big mess. Your mind is exactly the same way. You meet people every day. You shake their hands and get their names. You have telephone conversations. If you're a student, you sit in lecture classes, you read books, you read materials, you attend seminars and training sessions. All you're doing is taking information and throwing it in the Grand Canyon of your mind. It's like taking a file folder and throwing it into a room arbitrarily. Then when you try to go back to recall it and you see this person that you met 3 weeks ago, you think, oh, what's the name? The mind says, sorry, I forgot. You did not forget. It's here. The only problem is it's misfiled. Now, when we work with those blind and mentally handicapped children, we actually developed a way to teach anyone how to develop mental file folders in your mind. So virtually anything you see or hear automatically goes into a mental file. Then when you try to go back to recall it, whether it be a person's name or something for a test or something you heard or something you read, it instantly pops back. Instead of saying, I remember your face, you come back and say, Lisa Phillips, nice to meet you. Now I'm going to do a little demonstration for you to show you what can be done when you have a trained memory. Now I had a chance to meet most of you as you came in today, so I do remember your names. What I'm going to do is go around the room, call you out randomly by name. When I call on you, I want you to call out to the group a word. Any word at all, and we'll jot it down. Peter, why don't we start with number 1?
Sunday.
Sunday, where it says number 1 in your papers, everyone write down Sunday. All right, Ron for number 2?
Car.
Car for number 2. How about Rick for number 3?
Lunch.
Lunch for number 3. How about, let's see, how about Lisa? Lisa Phillips for number 4?
Football.
Football for number 4. How about Jack for number 5?
Sunlight.
Sunlight, good for number 5. How about, let's see, for number 6, let's go to Carol for number 6.
House.
House for number 6. How about Henry? 7.
Egg.
Egg for number 7. And how about Bruce for number 8?
Cadillac.
Cadillac for number 8. How about Michael, Dr. Michael Harrison in the back?
Wristwatch.
Wristwatch for number 9. And how about Roy? Number 10?
Apple.
Apple for number 10. Let's see, 11, how about Maxine?
Ring.
Ring for number 11. Let's see, 12, let's go to Suzanne.
Consciousness.
Consciousness for number 12. Let's see, 13, let's go to Mary Alice.
Handball.
Hambone for number 13. And 14, let's go to Sandy Miller.
Girls.
Girls for 14. And how about Heather for number 15?
Kangaroo.
Kangaroo for 15, great. Now this is called processing and organizing information. As I mentioned, none of you forget anything, you just misfile things. Now, let me see if I can recall these by memory. I think they go something like this. Number 1 is Sunday, 2 was car, 3 was lunch, 4 was football, 5 was sunlight, 6 was house, 7 was egg, 8 was, let's see, Cadillac, 9 was wristwatch, 10 was apple, 11 was ring, 12 was consciousness, 13 was hambone, 14 was girls, and 15, of course, was Kangaroo. Now, backwards we go. Kangaroo girls, then we have ham bone, consciousness, ring, then apple, wristwatch, Cadillac, then we have egg, house, sunlight, football, lunch, car, and of course the first one was Sunday. That's forwards and backwards by memory. Now, thank you. You know, every time I do this, people can be impressed with that demonstration, and I think it's impressive. But don't be impressed with that. See, I'm not anyone special. All I have is a trained memory. And folks, the fact is each one of you can do that. And not just with 15 things. You can do 50 things, 100 things, 1,000. Because you all have a perfect memory right now. The only difference is it's untrained. Now, imagine if each one of you could do exactly what I just did, and you can now. But imagine if you've had it trained. In only a few short hours, that's what the Mega Memory program is all about. We can teach anyone how to release the memory that you already have. Now, if you're a student, do you think an improved memory, if you can do this, listen to everything the teacher says and recall it for test time? Or how about read a textbook and be able to recall it for test time? How many people here feel that if you were a student, your grades would dramatically improve? Of course, because learning and memory go hand in hand. Memory is the foundation of learning. It makes sense. So this is what Mega Memory is all about. Something that each one of you can do right now.
Yes, you can have a photographic memory. Get better grades and higher test scores. Cut study time by 50% and have more fun. Remember every person's name you meet, even hundreds at a time. Learn a foreign language in days. Have phone numbers, important facts, and trivia at the tip of your tongue. Easily make money in games of chance. Excel on college entrance exams. Amaze your friends with your newfound powers and much, much more. Here's what you'll get. 8 specially designed power-packed cassettes containing Kevin Trudeau's simple yet effective techniques that will within minutes begin to release your own perfect memory. You'll also receive the easy-to-follow workbook that will reinforce your newly discovered ability and guarantee success. And if you order right now, you'll receive as a special bonus how to make $1,000 in the next 30 days using your new Mega Memory. This report alone could pay for the entire program many times over. This is a gift your entire family will enjoy for a lifetime. Imagine what this Mega Memory program could do for advancing your career, putting dollars in your pocket, and increasing your children's grades and self-esteem. But you won't pay $500. Now, as a special first-time television offer, this memory breakthrough can be yours for the incredibly low price of $59.95. Just pennies a day to give you and your children the advantage you need for getting ahead today. Kevin is so sure that this Mega Memory program will work for you that you may use the program, and within a 30-day period, if your memory hasn't improved at least 500%, then send the program back and receive a full refund. Don't hold your children or yourself back any longer.
To order the Mega Memory program, use your credit card and call 1-800-626-8500. That's 1-800-626-8500. Or send check or money order at $4.95 shipping and handling to Mega Memory, Post Office Box 6105, Westerville, Ohio 43081. That's 1-800-626-8500. Order now.
I'm a businessman, and I look at investments in relationship to the value I receive. The money that I paid for the course, I got 100 times value back for what I paid.
One of the most rewarding results of taking this course was I had my children in the course with me. My oldest son is now in college. He's a junior. He is on academic scholarship, makes straight A's, and I really believe the memory course has had a lot to do with that.
Before I took the course, I'd study about 3 hours a night, and my GPA was a 2.5. Now that I've taken the memory course, I only study about an hour a night, and my GPA is skyrocketed to a 3.5. It is definitely the best thing I've ever done.
Tosh, you have a question?
Kevin, will this course really help me get better grades in high school and college?
Tosh, as a high school student, or even as a college student, or a grad student, or a grade school student, a good memory is going to dramatically improve a student's grades. No question. Because memory is the whole foundation of learning. If you learn something, you have to be able to recall it. Bottom line. Now let me ask you a question. The next test that you're going to take, if you could bring with you all of your notes, would you probably do real well on that test? Yeah, no question about it, right? You'd definitely do well in the exam because you had all your notes there. Well, that's what the Mega Memory program is all about. it teaches people to develop a photographic memory so that anything you want, whether it be anything you read or anything you hear or see, can be recalled anytime you want in the future. So if you have your notes and you commit them to memory, it's just like walking in with them to the next test, which means A on the exam. You know, we've had students study at about 1/3 the time, and they finish their 3-hour exams in about an hour, straight A's, because they can recall instantly all the information that they need to recall. Memory equals good grades. Aisha, you have a question?
Yes, I have 2 children. I'd like to know at what ages can they begin benefiting from the program?
It depends. We say about 6, 7, 8 is when they can start, and you can actually assist your child go through the home study course at that age. Once they hit 9 or 10, they usually can pick up the course on their own. Now, the great thing about children, about students who are in school, we want our students, our children, to do well. We want them to get A's. But A's and B's are really not just letters on a piece of paper. It's really a child's ticket, it's a passport to whether they're going to get into the college of their choice, whether they're going to get into the career and get the job and make the money they want with their future. So as parents, I think it means a lot to us if those children get the grades they are capable of getting. And we really need to give our children the tools that they need in order to do the job. Good question. Lisa Phillips, you have a question?
Yes, is this program hard to learn, and do you have to study and study?
I get that a lot. People always are afraid, boy, if I take this program, do I have to practice every single night? And, you know, if I don't use it, will I lose it? And the answer is no, you don't have to practice. Once you learn these techniques, once your mind has been exercised, what actually happens is the ability has been released. It's not a skill you're learning. Example, if you ever learn how to ride a bike, drive a 4-speed manual transmission in a car, or learn how to swim, once you learned how, do you ever have to go back and take swimming lessons? Of course not. Even if you haven't gotten a pool for 20 years and I throw you in the deep end, guess what happens? You swim. You don't drown, you swim. Because it was an ability that was released. Same thing here with the memory. Once the memory has been exercised, it's like speaking a language. It's like walking. You do it automatically. It's extremely easy to pick up, and once you pick it up, it's locked in for life.
During the first lesson, I got results. It was so easy, I couldn't even believe it. It was just amazing, and it was so much fun.
The first day, the things that he taught improved me so much that when I got there, maybe I can remember 5 things. When I got out of there, 90 things. He just improved it so much.
Yes, you can have a photographic memory. Get better grades and higher test scores, cut study time by 50%, and have more fun. Remember every person's name you meet, even hundreds at a time. Learn a foreign language in days. Have phone numbers, important facts, and trivia at the tip of your tongue. Easily make money in games of chance. Excel on college entrance exams. Amaze your friends with your newfound powers and much, much more. Here's what you'll get. 8 specially designed power-packed cassettes containing Kevin Trudeau's simple yet effective techniques that will, within minutes, begin to release your own perfect memory. You'll also receive the easy-to-follow workbook that will reinforce your newly discovered ability and guarantee success. And if you order right now, you'll receive as a special bonus how to make $1,000 in the next 30 days using your new Mega Memory. This report alone could pay for the entire program many times over. This is a gift your entire family will enjoy for a lifetime. Imagine what this Mega Memory program could do for advancing your career, putting dollars in your pocket, and increasing your children's grades and self-esteem. But you won't pay $500. Now, as a special first-time television offer, this memory breakthrough can be yours for the incredibly low price of $59.95. Just pennies a day to give you and your children the advantage you need for getting ahead today. Kevin is so sure that this Mega Memory program will work for you that you may use the program, and within a 30-day period, if your memory hasn't improved at least 500%, then send the program back and receive a full refund. Don't hold your children or yourself back any longer.
To order the Mega Memory program, use your credit card and call 1-800-626-8500. That's 1-800-626-8500. Or send check or money order at $4.95 shipping and handling to Mega Memory, Post Office Box 6105, Westerville, Ohio 43081. That's 1-800-626-8500. Order now.
You know, people always ask me and say, Kevin, how did you get involved in memory? How did you develop such a powerful memory for yourself?
Well, the fact is, I did not have a good memory most of my life. See, in 1979, I was an LD child, had a learning speech impediment. I was flunking out of high school. I was 45 pounds overweight, had a dead-end job, a beat-up car, didn't feel good about myself. My future did not look very bright. I tried to improve myself, but nothing seemed to work, until I met a man who was a millionaire, speaking one evening on success. Now, 3 years previous, he was a body shop mechanic, so I figured he knew something I didn't know. Well, I followed him after this little lecture to a Denny's restaurant. There was about 5 people that happened to follow him. I was lucky enough to sit down next to him. He shared with me that night till 4 o'clock in the morning principles of success. And I furiously took down notes. The most important thing that man taught me that night, he said, Kevin, knowledge is power, but only if you can remember it. Isn't that powerful? That literally changed my whole life, because I took that and I thought, you know, I can't remember anything. That's why I'm not going forward. So I began to seek out ways to improve my own memory. Nothing really seemed to work. I read all the books, I went to all the seminars, listened to all the tapes. Nothing worked for me, until I met a man who was doing research with blind children, handicapped children. Him and I got together, and together we pioneered this whole way of how the memory and mind actually worked. And that's when my life changed, because I could now remember things. I could use things. It made all the difference. I found out that it's true. Knowledge is power, but only if you can remember it. See, this will work for you, because I know it's worked for me. It's changed my life. I know it can change your life. I'd like to share with you a poem I think is real special. It goes, it's not what you eat, but it's what you digest that makes you strong. It's not what you earn, but what you save that brings you wealth. And it's not what you learn in life, but rather what you remember that makes you wise. If you have not ordered the Mega Memory program yet, I urge you, order now. You owe it to yourselves, you owe it to your children. Order now.
Yes, you can have a photographic memory. Here's what you'll get. 8 specially designed power-packed cassettes containing Kevin Trudeau's simple yet effective techniques that will, within minutes, begin to release your own perfect memory. You'll also receive the easy-to-follow workbook that will reinforce your newly discovered ability and guarantee success. And if you order right now, you'll receive as a special bonus how to make $1,000 in the next 30 days using your new Mega Memory. This memory breakthrough can be yours for the incredibly low price of $59.95.
What I want to do now is go back to the list. I'd like anyone here in the room to call out any number on that list. I'll immediately tell you the word you called. Or call out any of the words, I'll immediately tell you the number. Okay, can we begin? Number and item. Apple's number 10. Cross it off on your sheet, folks, so you know it's been called. Number 8, of course, was Cadillac. Cross it off. 6 was house, and 15 was kangaroo. 4 was football. 7 was egg. Cross them off. 12 was consciousness. Cross it off. 11 was ring. Cross it off. 5 was sunlight. Cross it off. 14 was girls. Hold on just for a second. Let me now tell you the ones you didn't call. You didn't call number 1, which was Sunday. You didn't call 2, which was car. You didn't call 3, which was lunch. You also didn't call number 9, which was wristwatch. You didn't call number 13, which was ham bone. And that's all of them by memory.
Having a better memory definitely translates to money. As a matter of fact, it is money, because if you remember things, people, places, facts, it will help you in every facet of your life, in the business world, in education. And if you have a better mind, more knowledge, you can make more money.
I had an 800% increase in my memory retention from learning the fundamentals that the course gave me and then applying that to my business.
You should really take the course. It's so important to have a good memory. There's so much to remember, so little time, so many people to meet, so many places to go. You don't want to forget who you're going to go see and where you're going, so take the course. It's great.